to the point where, yeah, I remembered, but I couldn't exactly translate it all. While I understood, Final Fantasy Tactics was one of the first 2 games I played. That and Fallout. And I kind of thought, okay, so this has an RPG aspect to it, to EverQuest. Get in the game, fairly easy to start you off with. You get a couple quests, a couple little missions, nothing dangerous, nothing that was going to kill you. But I played on a PvP server, and the PvP server was like this. Each person selected a deity, and if you didn't select a deity, you were basically agnostics. And agnostics were their own faction. A lot of the Wood Elves and High Elves, they almost always chose one particular deity. And because I had chosen a Dark Elf, of course, because I thought, why not? I saw that they were Necromancer was one of the classes, Shadow Knight was the other. I thought, hey, this will be fun. I didn't realize that a lot of Dark Elves went agnostic to join the agnostic faction. And so when by the time I'd actually gotten up, I think it was like level 15, I'd learned a lot of brutal lessons. But when we got into the PvP faction wars from a guy the Yakuza, he was teaching me all that he could, but there's only so much you could really do. We didn't have voice clients at the time.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Dark Elves, and between your own race, there's not much that you can really do. You don't lose or gain anything. But I guess other faction members, if you kill them, you get to take all of their money that they had and one item that was not bound to character. There were a lot of items then that were absolutely prized. One of the big ones was fine steel, and I had managed to trade for a fine steel dagger, which was an incredible convenience at my low level.
Yeah.
You do have chemist or white mage?
I do, but I mean, this battle's gonna be over in a bit anyways, so I'm just gonna, because they only threw me 2 panthers and a goblin, so.
And just burn them down. Anyhow, I get into some of the faction war stuff, and I had switched to this time. I'd switched to Shadow Knight, and that was what I did from then on out. Later on, I changed to a Scaly, but that's entirely different. There were a lot of Dark Elves, and because of the way the faction war zones worked, whoever was in zone was immediately notified of the faction wars happening. Let's just say that getting slaughtered by the guys that you trade with in your home city over and over because you set your respawn point wrong really fucking sucked. Ooh, another one. Good.
I knew, on the way back, I knew we were going to run into every single one possible.
Well, that's a good thing.
I know.
Anyhow, I got past that and I learned to realize, okay, maybe these guys know what they're doing, but I'd formed a few friendships with people who were on opposite sides, and they decided, let's get away from the PvP for a while. We'll go and we'll screw around on Kunark. And Kunark was amazing because there was a lot of shit that you could bind to the character. So at that point, losing money meant nothing because there was always somebody who could teleport. You had Shadow Knight, you had a Druid, you had a Necromancer. So we could do everything. So we got out to about level 25, maybe. And we went back and we dominated the PvP areas just as a small group. Never did much other than that. We got crushed by a lot of the good ones, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Later on, when I got to about level 30, that's when the faction war zones actually turned. They stopped allowing the agnostic faction to basically raid anywhere. They had certain zones that they could go through, so that really limited them. The Wood Elves and the High Elves, however, those were some nasty areas because you had the equipment at that time, Shadows of Lucklin and Kunark, you didn't have much mana. You didn't have any real way to regenerate mana. So your druid would be sitting with basically staring at their spellbook on screen for 10 minutes before they could teleport you somewhere. So it was a pain in the ass. It was done that way. It was done that way so people would travel in groups, so they would actually make alliances and friendships. So we would be stuck for 10 minutes, and by that time, you know, somebody could have killed him off the other two of us. And it was just generally fun in that regard. But if you get near the High Elf and Wood Elf areas, they were better for grind. Nice. And, of course, there were places that you had to go in order to grind, or to find certain things. We got locked in a perpetual zone, stuck between the High Elves and Wood Elves, because we were all enemy factions.
Now, Maverick.
We bound...
Hold on, tell me. Was this zone dangerous?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't for us. No. The enemies in there, the NPCs, they were levels 4 to 12, I guess. Yeah, 4 to 12. But the players, because they had access to the grinding zones, holy shit, these guys were in their 35s and 40s. And some of them had been to Luckland. And, you know, if you get up to the moon where the fucking kitties are, there's a lot of excellent gear up there. The basic starting gear on Luckland made level 20 gear look like a joke. It was bad.
I'm disappointed. You weren't riding into the danger zone.
See, here's the thing. You couldn't. There were only a couple places to get to Luckland, and they were difficult. You had to go through the Wood Elf or the High Elf zones, and that was what got us stuck. There were no merchants, and so the druid had to scrounge food and water constantly. There were a lot of rogues, rangers, and paladins, which made my life very difficult, because
Were these like the magic-resistant kind of paladins?
Yes, actually, some of the gear from Luckland was very magic-resistant, and it was paladin, fighter, and warrior only. But for Shadow Knight, had I managed to get there, I would have managed to overpower them. But we were locked, I shit you not, 3 weeks in real time, 4 hours a day, trying to get the fuck out of those zones. I shit you not. 3 weeks. And it was minimum 4. But on the weekends, you know, I had 8 or 9 hours in. So yeah, it dominated my life.
oh yeah. Check it out real quick. Black Mage, level 2, 230 out of 400 to the next one.
Yes!
Yep, that's what they did. And if you notice, there's no Time Mage, so yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be a real dick just to get another level for a couple of guys, go back through again.
Nah. I'm not gonna go back through again. The only reason I would do that is if I really, really, really wanted to get that armor piece for what's his face, Argath, but I don't really care that much about him, so.
No.
Actually,
no.
Seeing as you mentioned it earlier, and I've been meaning to. Oh, hey, Cura, cool.
Yep.
I'll get regular Cura instead.
Yeah, don't Cura.
Saves mana. Because otherwise I'll just be burning all my mana on one cure. Or Cura, should I say. And that won't be a good tactical idea. So also, Rustov, I see you're confused down there. We were talking about EverQuest. And
hatred of elves.
And the hatred of elves.
I hate elves. Around my age of gamer, you either love elves or you hate them. There is no in between. And most of that comes from people that played EverQuest, because no matter what, the elves had very good access to... The High Elves and Wood Elves had very good access to grind zones. Zones where you could actually get shit that would be useful. Whereas everybody else had to travel through those zones. If they weren't allied to them, you were screwed. Because there would be hunting packs going around killing people, collecting that one unbound item and all their money. And when you're... I'm going to say we probably had a good 100 hours being stuck in between those two factions that they had truced each other and just slaughtered everybody else. And it was really fucking sad. The only reason we got out was because I managed to figure out how to burn down the paladins, and that was no easy task.
Wait,
That
did
was
you
where
say you were a mage? How did you manage to burn down
no,
paladins?
I wasn't a mage. The Shadow of Night has spells, low-level necromancer spells. Oh, yes. And anyhow, what you could do is you could spam them.
Oh, okay.
Because they cast so quick and there were so many, you could inflict 8 kinds of debuffs
Oh,
and just watch their health drop.
All right, so
And
we've got some voice acting to do, I guess.
then you've heard about the Order? They mean to strike us for true. Aye, I've heard. So what's to become of us? I say we forget this business and run. That's not for it.
Oh, hold on.
Agree.
Hold on.
What?
Look at his name.
I know.
And he's a monk. Somebody should have fixed that. They're not all knights.
Yeah, you know what? That was fixed on the PS version. It was the guy in the back that was the monk, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways, let's just keep on.
Agreed. If we follow Wygraf, he will lead us only to our graves. Aye, that much is plain. Gods be good. Gustav's ransom of the Marquis will fatten our purses enough that we can quit this life for good and all.
But you're not gonna make it that far.
The Order! They're here! Don't laugh. Don't laugh, damn it. It's hard.
Oh, that just sounded so rapey.
Hey, I know what you're gonna be doing. Hey, guess what? They're all locked in a little tiny building.
Oh god, in the middle of the desert. Or, you know, the edge of the desert, I guess. I love how they call it a desert, but there's so much grass on the ground.
Well, if you've ever seen the edge of desert zones,
No, I haven't
particularly in Arizona, the edges of deserts
Oh, fuck you.
look absolutely nothing like what you would imagine. They're lush.
actually.
I'm throwing me balls at you, boy. You better get
That's terrible, cause now that was my female mage that he just threw his balls at.
Yeah.
This whole thing just got so much more rapey.
Listen, carrying your stones meant holding your balls in the old world.
Hold on a sec. Did I read that right? Okay. For a second, I thought Delita was showing like 33 HP. I was like, what?
No.
All right, now I gotta make a tactical decision. As are all decisions in this game, but still. All right, we're going this way.
Time, yeah. Especially since you've got a mage there.
Hmm.
You know what? This one is actually running smoothly. I'm not 10 or 12 seconds behind the battle curve.
Well, I mean, remember, it took you a little while to actually get there, so.
Yeah. No, I mean, last time I was 15 to 20 seconds behind, so I couldn't give you any advice.
Yeah. Wait, is Agrius gonna move?
That's not Agrius.
Argath. I genuinely dislike both of them pretty much equally, so.
Okay, Agrius is fine for 2 reasons. She's not a turbo bitch.
I mean,
That's the only good part. Okay?
she's not a turbo
Other than
bitch,
that-
but she is kind of a bitch.
Not if you read all the Dojin about her.
Damn. Salty.
Salty.
Dude. Ah, yes.
Alright, Argath,
Feel
go in there and
bad.
finish it off. So, shit, I was gonna talk about something, but I completely forgot what it was.
Don't worry about it. It's soon enough.
I remember, I think the last time I played through this... Oh, fuck. I think the last time I played through this, I actually made Argath an archer to coincide with what he becomes later.
Yep.
And then,
No spoilers.
no spoilers.
Spoil the dicks.
Don't spoil it, Nick.
Dicks that are going to happen to him.
You know what else I keep